Even though it's over, I still feel like someone's watching me. You know when they say, trust your instincts? Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. It all started innocently enough. I was using this dating app to escape a string of boring dates when I came across Jack's profile, a charming smile, a gorgeous face, and the line that got me hooked. I think I know your favorite color. I swiped right. Of course I did. A picture-perfect connection. Jack and I clicked instantly. You know those late-night conversations where time flies and before you know it, it's 2 a.m.? That was us. He asked the right questions, revealed just enough about himself to keep me intrigued, and seemed genuinely interested. Honestly, it felt like someone had stepped out of my dreams. But looking back, the red flags were there all along. For instance, Jack mentioned his love for horror movies, something I hadn't told him I liked yet. Weird, but I brushed it off as a coincidence. Then he commented on a green shirt I wore the previous week. That's when my brain stalled. How would he know about that shirt? But you know how it is when you're into someone. You ignore the weird stuff. I convinced myself I was overthinking. After all, Jack seemed perfect. Our first meeting, the red flags start adding up. After a few weeks of texting, Jack asked me out for coffee. I was nervous but excited. He chose this adorable little cafe in the city, a place with great lattes and hanging plants. When I arrived, he was already seated, smiling with a coffee in hand. "A caramel latte with oat milk, right?" he said, sliding the cup toward me. I laughed nervously. "How'd you know?" "You seem like the caramel latte type," he replied smoothly. It felt oddly specific, but I let it slide. People are observant, right? No big deal. But as the conversation went on, things got weird. He mentioned my dog Charlie, a detail I hadn't shared. "You have a beagle, don't you?" he asked casually. I blinked. "Did I tell you that?" "You must have," he said with a grin, changing the subject. The rest of the date followed the same pattern. Jack brought up my favorite authors, a scar on my knee from childhood, and even a church group I was active in during high school. It was like he knew my life story. The turning point. After our coffee date, Jack started texting constantly. Good morning messages, updates on his day, random thoughts. It felt sweet at first, but quickly became overwhelming. One night, I didn't respond for a couple of hours because I was at work. His text read, "I hope you're not mad at me or anything." That's when I realized something was off. The tipping point came one evening. I was home, curled up watching Netflix, when Jack texted me, "Enjoying the show?" My stomach dropped. I hadn't told him what I was doing. "How do you know I'm watching Netflix?" I asked, my fingers trembling. His response chilled me. "Just a lucky guess." The taco test. At that point, I decided to test him. I texted Jack saying I was going to bed early, then grabbed my jacket and headed to a taco truck a few blocks away. As I was mid-bite, my phone buzzed. Tacos? Really? I froze. My head darted around, scanning the area, but I didn't see anyone. How did he know where I was? My heart pounded as I rushed home, locked the doors, and blocked his number. The nightmare begins. For a week, everything seemed fine, until I got a text from an unknown number. Blocking me won't change anything. My chest tightened. I ignored it, but later that night, I heard a tapping on my bedroom window. Here's the thing, I live on the second floor. Panic set in as my phone buzzed again. "I just want to see you." I called the police immediately. Life after Jack. A year later, I still double-check my locks and stay off social media. The signs were there, but feeling special blinds you to danger. If something feels wrong, trust your instincts and walk away.